The big story at this hour, the Maharashtra Assembly's resolution to suspend 12 BJP MLAs for a year for alleged unruly behaviour has now been set aside by the Supreme Court. The court observed that suspending the MLAs beyond the session was unconstitutional and illegal. While the rules say suspension can be for the session, the 12 MLAs were suspended for a year beyond it. Saurabh Gupta joining us with the latest on that story. Saurabh, remind us of the exact events that took place in July last year, on the 5th of July last year. Is this going to be an embarrassment for the Maharashtra government?
Well, yes, definitely. The Maharashtra government, or rather the assembly is administered by, the speaker. And in that case, the presiding officer was Bhaskar Jadhav, who alleged that the BJP, members had misbehaved with him inside his room in the assembly premises. Now, following that, there was a resolution passed to suspend 12 MLAs for 1 year for their misbehavior. Now, what the Supreme Court seems to have gone by is the fact that punishment in terms of suspension for more than one session is not something that's constitutional or legal. And therefore, it has overturned that suspension for a year. Now, beyond that, one session has already passed. So, obviously, the assembly members have remained suspended for the sessions that have followed this incident in July last year. Now, what the opposition is now saying is that there are two things to this. And they had raised this. There were opposition MPs who have, of course, haven't gone to court in a completely unconnected situation. Opposition MPs were suspended from Parliament. And at that time, they too were using the same argument that suspension from beyond one session is not something that's allowed according to the rules. So, in both cases, this applies, but in the second case, then the Parliament suspension of opposition MPs, they haven't really gone to court. And perhaps if they go to court, they would get a similar ruling. In this case, the MLAs were suspended for a year, more than a session. Now that has been overturned by the Supreme Court, and the BJP sees it as a shot in the arm because it has argued that this action of, suspending their MLAs for more than one term was illegal and unconstitutional, something that the Supreme Court has upheld. Now, beyond that, there's another political argument around this, and the fact is that in Mumbai, or in Maharashtra itself, the governor is sitting on a list of 12 MLAs, or MLCs rather, who have to be nominated to the upper house of the Maharashtra legislature, which is the Legislative Council. Now, in that case, the Bombay High Court had said very clearly that while we cannot pass orders and ask the governor to act, it cannot be a situation where the governor simply puts it in a drawer and, the nominations don't see the light of day. In a way, nudging the governor to act within an appropriate period of time. That also hasn't happened. So, in all of this, it is a shot in the arm for the BJP in this case.
Right.
These are separate incidents, the assembly. And in this case, of course, it is a shot in the arm for the BJP because their MLAs will be reinstated in the assembly, which means they have 12 more MLAs in the assembly. Yes, and in terms of numbers, that can be a big thing.
All right, Saurabh. Thanks very much indeed for that update.